We're ready to begin the application for our zipper technique. Our very first foil will actually be on the shallow side of our fringe here, or in the front area. We'll only be using a foil that will be the width of our first zigzag. I don't want to go all the way back into the sides, because by doing that I'm getting more on the round of the head, and I'm just wanting to add highlights just through the top. So our very first foil will actually be the top section of our shallow section on the left side of the head. Now our first foil is in, and I'm ready to move to the opposite side, because here I want to move, I'm going to be zigzagging and moving across the head. So I want to start on this side, but I want to have our foils coming back over this way. Now I'll actually take part of this section out, almost in a rectangular shape, because I don't want to place the foils any further than our zigzag on the top, or where our zigzag starts to go back over to the opposite side. Diagonal line and just subsection this section into two sections. As you can see, this starts to be more of the round of the head, and I really don't want to get into that. So I'm taking 3 to 4 diagonal lines just in this subsection here that will actually be foiling the hair. When I place my last foil, I actually want to end on the zigzag section itself. Now I'm pretty much close to the top of my section, and here I'll actually weave off the very top of that, and I've still got about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more hair there, but typically you want to be around 1/4 of an inch hair in between each foil. Now that the last foil is in on this section, I'll actually switch sides and go to the next section and work my foils back over in the opposite direction. I'm looking at where my foil ended, and this time I want to split this right in the middle of our previous last foil. Now that I've done that, this would actually be this section here on top would actually be the section of hair that I'll place into foil. I'll actually do this with 3 different foils, leaving about 1/4 inch of hair out in between each foil. You'll notice that the section of hair is actually quite small here, and it's not quite as wide as the entire foil. Don't worry about that. As we move up to the top of the head, our sections will gradually get wider and wider, but we don't want to have a lot of hair here because we are working on a round surface. Now that I've completed this section, I'll flip over to the other side of the head and continue the foils back in this manner, working towards the top of the head. I've gone ahead and created my rectangle section here. I've subsectioned the section into 2 pieces, and now I'll begin our foil up to our zigzag sectioning, our zigzag parting. As we move closer to the top, our sections may get smaller and not be quite as wide, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. That's what we really want to see when we do that. And once we get to the opposite side, you'll see that I don't have much of a zigzag left, but I still need to place just a couple of foils here in the top to make sure that I kind of balance this out. We've gone ahead and placed the last foil in the top of the head, and what we want to see is once we get to the top of the head is that the foils tend to want to overlap as we work back towards the face. As you can see, we've got 3 foils coming from the right and 3 foils coming from the left, and the corners pretty much meet and overlap one another.